Hello, everyone. This is Linda and Alyssa back with you. It's Wednesday, 9:15 my time. So we are back with you to talk about workplace wellness. And today we have a focus on teams, how to feel valued and trusted part of a team, or if you have to lead a team, how to ensure that the other participants feel valued and trusted. This is an issue I think that's come up for many people. I've experienced all kinds of teams, ones where I felt valued and ones where I didn't, and ones where I've had great leaders and ones where I've had terrible leaders and ones where I've had to lead myself. So yeah, there is a lot to this. So Alyssa, welcome. Good to see you. And I'm looking forward to hearing from you, especially with your HR background,
Thank you,
your
Linda.
perspective on teams.
Thank you. It's nice to be here with you again. I can't believe a week passed by already, and we're here again to share more tips and experiences. I think when it comes to trust, it's one of those things that we need to build and cultivate. And it's not like, you gain trust immediately. It's something that over time, again, you cultivate it just like a plant, I would say. Like you have to water it, you have to nurture it. And throughout my career and my HR years, yes, I had situations where I built that trust to the point that my managers really counted on me and they could just give me things with their eyes closed and they said, I completely trust you. But there were other times where, although I worked hard to gain that trust, I had especially one situation where a manager never really trusted me, and it was very uncomfortable situation because even after looking for feedback and trying to gain that trust, trying to see how I can work the relationship better, it didn't work out. And I think even though I tried my best, the other person wasn't willing to open up and to trust me completely. And I would say my assumption is that the other person felt like maybe I was a competition or I was going to maybe do something that this person didn't like. That was my perception. It didn't end well. At the end, the relationship ended and I moved on because it was one of those situations that I didn't see any opportunity for me. So it
Mhm.
was something that I learned, and it was a tough situation. But again, it's one of those things that you have to balance and see, okay, is this really worth it? Is it, am I welcome here? Is it, am I value? Is this something that I want to endure or not? And it was really affecting my emotional, my mental health, and I wasn't happy there anymore.
Mhm.
So, yes.
Well, it's a really important point. You have to, and it's. I think we mentioned this when we discussed boundaries. It's a case of, sometimes someone is not going to accept you. They're not going to want to really connect with you, and I think we have to decide. What are we willing to tolerate? Is it something? If it starts affecting your health, your well-being, then and you cannot change the situation because you can't, some people will like you, some people will not, and it's not usually a reflection even of you. It's depending whatever's going on for them. If they're very insecure, they can make up their mind about you, early on, and nothing will change that. One of the things that I encounter a lot, I know you are a very sensitive person. I'm a highly sensitive person, so I work a lot with highly sensitive people. And one thing I know, this is certainly true for me and for the other people I've worked with, is that I don't know, as highly sensitive people, we need purpose and we need to be fulfilled, and we always, what I think, whatever we do, want to put 110% into it. We want to do the best job we can. That sometimes has backfired for me. I've always, when I was in the corporate world, I always got great feedback from my bosses, so much so that sometimes they would ask me to do things rather than asking the person who should be doing that, because they knew I would get it done and I would do a good job. So that was, the bosses valued and trusted me, but that did not go down well with the other employees. So sometimes I I had a great relationship with my bosses, and sometimes it was hard to have a great relationship with the other people I worked with. There would always be one or two who saw me maybe as a threat, or something like that, or just. And I can remember very clearly. I'll share one example with you. When I first came to the US, I didn't have a green card, so I couldn't work at that time. I came with my husband. He had the visa. His job moved him here. And so because I couldn't work, I thought, well, I'll volunteer somewhere. And I had two situations where I volunteered. The first one was at a humane society, and I helped. They had a veterinary center within the humane society there. And so my job was to, whenever the vet had finished seeing an animal, and the room was empty, I would go in and clean the room ready for the next patient. And there were two other vet technicians there who did the same thing. Well, they'd been there a long time, and I don't know, they sort of, they always made out that they were busier than they really were. So my approach was always, oh, a room's empty, let me go and clean it. And I'd do it as soon as possible, because I like to keep busy. I just wanted to keep busy, and I wanted to do a good job. Well, the other two technicians ended up hating me, I guess. Maybe I showed them up, I don't know what it was. But anyway, I didn't stay there very long, because even the vets were so happy that I was willing to do this, that they started asking me to do things that, strictly speaking, I shouldn't have been doing, so holding animals and things like that, simply because the others weren't around. They were off somewhere, they would take long breaks and things like that. So it can be difficult in a situation like that, when you want to do your best, but you might be intimidating or bringing out the insecurities of someone else. And I didn't really understand that until much later on. Now I understand what happened, and I probably would have handled it differently. But my approach is always, I'm here to do this job. I want to do the best job I can do. So, right. Yeah.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I also had a similar experience where I was actually substituting somebody that went on leave, and I was gonna be there only for 3 months. And the person trained me, and then I was doing what was required. But I'm the type of person that always likes to go the extra mile, and I think it comes with that. And I think the type of personality that we take it so, I don't know if it's serious, but we really take pride on what we do, and we do it very well because we have high standards, to the point that it can make other people uncomfortable in a way. And that's, I think, what happened in my situation too, where I went the extra mile and I was doing more than this person trained me to do. And there were things that this person never took care of, and I did it during that time on top of everything else. And then when this person came back, my boss was telling her that she needed to do these extra things and continue, and of course she didn't like it.
No.
She didn't like that, because I guess I set the bar too high, and then that it was that very uncomfortable situation, because and unfortunately, sometimes you just do what the job description says and no more. And I mean, nothing against that. But I think that sometimes makes other people uncomfortable.
And even in a new situation, I had somebody I worked with who, she was very excited. She got a new job. She was a loan officer. She got a new job at this new company, and she's very excited for it. And she had to go through several weeks of training, so she did all the training, and she started. They put her in the office. She started work, and they assigned this person to her who was supposed to, be there to guide her to if she had any questions. They were supposed to assist her in getting off to a really good start. And she found that the person, he was very difficult. He wouldn't answer her questions. He made her feel stupid if she asked a question. And he made her feel so uncomfortable that after about 2 weeks, she couldn't take it anymore and she left. I thought that's such a sad thing, because, she was excited. She wanted to do a good job. She would have been a great employee. And this company had invested a lot in her and her training and everything. And it was, she ended up leaving because this one person felt threatened, I guess, by her. So, it happens all over the place. And
Yes.
what can you do? I guess, what can you do about it? Well, and one of the things I have learned, I mean, you can't control, obviously, what somebody else thinks about you. You can't control how they see you. But what I have learned more than anything, I think, is that you first have to value and appreciate yourself and trust yourself. Because if you don't, then other people won't. I really have experienced this, and as someone who didn't value and trust myself for a long time, that's how I grew up. But when you start changing how you see yourself and treating yourself with respect, other people do too. It changes how other people respond to you. That doesn't mean you'll never encounter someone who is rude to you or something like that, but it has to start with you. Right. It's the only thing you have any control over. So what are your thoughts on that, Alyssa?
Definitely, it starts with us, and that's the only thing that we can control. And I think when we accept ourselves as we are and we appreciate what we do, we value, we respect ourselves, we set that intention and we show differently. And we feel more empowered to set those boundaries and not feel like we're giving away our power and we're depending on others to make decisions for us or to tell us how we should do things, or without really listening to us. So yes, it is about, I think, cultivating that first of all. And it's a process, it's part of our growing journey. It's something that it is important to do that type of work, especially if you feel that you don't accept yourself completely. And it's maybe you say, yes, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And that's one of the phrases that it comes with the setup statements that I use in the work that I do. And I remember when I started doing this work, I couldn't say it. I couldn't say I deeply and completely love and accept myself. It sounded so like, no. I mean, it's like, how am I going to say that to myself? Like, I could say it to others, but to myself. So now it comes, and you can repeat it like an affirmation. There are all these wonderful affirmations that you can repeat and say over and over and over and over again, but they don't really stick until you really believe them. So it's not like you make it until you, what's the phrase? You
Make it till you make it. Is it that?
no, really, I think when you do the deeper work, it's like it comes organically and you
Well,
believe it from the heart.
yeah. I mean, I completely understand what you're saying, because I used to use affirmations like that, and I would say, I completely love and accept myself. I could say it, but I knew I didn't mean it. I
Mhm.
knew I didn't believe it.
Right.
One of the things that helped me was I started to change it a little bit and say, I'm working on loving
Yes.
and accepting myself. Each day I love and accept myself a little more. Things like that, because that I could believe. I was working on it.
Yes.
I was getting a little bit better every day. And so affirmations are wonderful,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to believe them. So
Yes.
if there's an affirmation you're saying and you know you don't believe it, there's a disconnect inside, then I really recommend that you change the affirmation into something that you can
That
believe.
resonates with you. It's
Yes,
about what resonates with you. Another powerful one is choose. I
choose.
choose to love
Yes.
and accept myself. But like working on it, I'm doing better every day.
Mm,
I'm a working process. Or
mm,
there was another affirmation about approving of myself. That one I couldn't really like. It didn't land for me. Like
yes.
now, okay, I'm choosing to approve myself
Yes.
every day more and more.
Yes. I love that. Well, yeah, I think that's a really important thing. And if you're experiencing any kind of difficult relationship, I think if you're struggling to feel valued, appreciated at work or at home or wherever, then you have to, I think, look at yourself and ask yourself, where do I, what, how could I improve how I see myself? Where do I need to value myself more and approve of myself more? I think that is one of the things that will make the biggest shift for you. And I'm very aware we've run out of time again. Before we go, I just want to let people know that I actually have a webinar coming up next week on Tuesday. And it's called the three secrets to getting what you really want. And why I put the really in there is because often what we think we want ends up not being exactly what we want. And that's why we struggle to get it. So, whether you want improvements at work, whether you would like to get another job, whether you have your own business, you want more clients, whatever it is that you're working towards and it's not happening for you, this webinar will help you understand from an energetic point of view why you're struggling and what to do to turn things around. And I focus on very simple and practical solutions. So if you are interested in that at all, just let me know.
And how
There is
can
a
we
charge.
register,
There
Linda?
is a charge for the webinar. It's $27. But if you're watching this and you would like to come, just reach out to me and you can come for free just for watching
They'll
this.
send you an IM, an instant message through.
Yes, send me an instant message. Just let me know in the comments, to send you the details. I'll be happy to do that. So,
All right. So
um,
make sure you connect with Linda.
yeah, yeah, you'll learn a lot, and I think
I'll be there. I'm gonna
yes,
check it out. I saw you posted it yesterday, a few days ago, so
mhm,
I'm gonna go and add it to my calendar.
that will be wonderful. Now, I'm excited to tell you that next week we are going to focus on some very practical things you can do. So we will be actually showing you some things that you can do that will make a really big difference. Start changing things for you, because we're talking about it's giving you ideas. Now we're going to next week we're going to actually show you some practical things you can do.
Yes.
So I'm
Going
excited
to
about
work
that.
on resetting your posture and reducing your stress levels in practical ways. So come prepared.
Yes,
We're gonna do some cool exercises, stretches that you can practice from your desk. You don't have to move
yes, we are.
your desk.
I'm excited for that. Okay, well, thank you so much, Alyssa. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and we look forward to connecting with you again next week. And reach out to me if you're interested in the webinar, Three Secrets to Getting What You Really Want. Okay, thanks very
Thank
much.
you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.